Welcome to part 1 of the Black Rose translations. By now you should have listened to the introduction, in which I state that the manuscript I'm reading from I wrote in 1989, and I will be commenting on it from my perspective in 2018 as we go along. Since this is such a mystical topic and evokes images of Avalon, unicorns, and fairies, I decided that I wish to film it in the virtual world of Second Life, where I have my Newer Star Sanctuary. It will just give a little more ambiance to the whole thing and a black unicorn. So we shall begin. The Black Rose translations. Open a door into the divine forest, or Avalon, through which we are invited to follow the unicorn upon a quest for the center of the labyrinth. Within that center is found the black rose, a sacred dream brought into reality. In the dreaming, the pipe smoke is scented with lavender, rising in star-laced visions within the spiral of the unicorn's horn. The black rose is a labyrinth within a labyrinth, a mystery within a mystery, a dream within a dream. It is for all who quest upon the great way, yet it cannot be dreamed into one's heart without the element of faith. Each must decide for himself where their seeking will take them and which door must be opened. At the point of light where the dream and the reality meet, so there is rooted the black rose. Now, I would like to say, from the perspective of 2018, that I would change the wording here where it says, it cannot be dreamed into one's heart without the element of faith. I would change it to without the element of inner knowing. And also, I would like to add that we see what is being stated here, that each must decide for themselves where their seeking will take them and which door must be opened. At that point of light where the dream and the reality meet, so there is rooted the black rose. That is where we are right now, ladies and gentlemen. We are at that point more so than ever before, certainly more so than in 1989. Because as Thoth has been stating to me over and over, and it's always been true, but now more than ever, we choose our reality. We choose the dimension of acceptance of our spiritual being that is going to flower and give us the holographic vision, a vision that is real, because anything that comes through us that we abide within is real. But this is where we're going to start separating out when we move into the choices we make. Do we move into the pyramidus radius vibration of that platform that prepares us for the quantum leap into the newer star, or do we not? But it's not just a matter of that. There are various entwinings of reality that go on within the pyramidus radius that continue within the first phases of the new Earth star that Thoth refers to as New Zone. Where in all of that mixture are you going to fly? Is your soul going to alight? This is the deciding factor now in this age, in this time, in this incarnation. And so I continue with the text. We shall begin with the unicorn initiation, which was given by me as part of John Davis's of the Coptic Fellowship International seminar held in San Antonio, Texas this February, meaning the February of 1989. The following is my introduction to the initiation as it was presented at the seminar. Now, this was a live in-person seminar. They didn't have Skype and Zoom in those days. The ceremony given here today has not been performed since the age of Atlantis, when it was reserved for innermost adepts. Now is the time for seekers to receive such mysteries without undergoing a long and intricate process. Thus, the unicorn initiation is revealed to the outer realm as a way for those who quest for wisdom to become part of a meaningful ceremony which before had been given to the few in secret. In order to understand the importance and true meaning of the ceremony in which we will participate, a discourse on its origins need be given. We, as children of the stars and earth, are intrinsically connected to the center of our planet, to what my sources refer to as the central sun atoma. This inner world sphere of light is suspended in the concave of space of a hollow earth. The peoples of subterranean central realm, the subterranean central realm, are remnants of an ancient culture of the surface world. Many ancient cultures, such as Mayans, Atlanteans, Lemurians, Egyptians, of the most distant lineages, and also cultures long forgotten, thus unknown to us. Within the genetics of the inner world tribes are mingled heritages from the cosmos, from our kindred of star families. The tribes of the central earth dwell in harmony upon their spirit wheel of life, the great medicine wheel of balance, which is not an object, but a way of living in beauty and oneness with all nature and spiritual dimensions of being. The shamans of Subterranean teach their people that the center of the spirit life wheel is the atoma, or center of the earth, but it is also the atoma of the ensouled human being. They see this dualism as the profound principle, that which creates the continuity of harmony in nature. Earth is a spiral function, and so is humanity. Like delicately wound coils, these two spirals interface, each releasing the potential of the other in discrete units of checks and balances. It is the dance, the formalizing of inherent design into energetic motion. From this active union arises the creating forces, the Elohim, transferred to earth before the first dawn. From issue 188 of the source, and I quote from that issue, the Elohim Kachina factor is active within the earth. It is the state of becoming through which the individual light worker co-creates with mankind, forming a bridge into the universe of both macro and microcosm. It is a form energy. It is a form emerging from spirit, living clay arising from immobile stone. That which is at rest is becoming dynamic and responsive to the word, the mantra of life. We in our Kachina bodies create the weave for new forms coming after us. We have been past the fire of the Elohim. And that's the end of the quote from 188 of the source. And now I continue with 1989. Thus we see the spiral and its attendant form of the maze labyrinth as the conductive coil of manifestation, centralizing and decentralizing all spirit matter transferences through its energetic nature. Thus we see the spiral and its attendant form of the maze labyrinth as the conductive coil, I've already read this, I'm reading it again, of manifestation, centralizing and decentralizing all spirit matter transferences through its energetic nature. The guardian of the spiral maze labyrinth is that creature of light and perfection within the natural realm known to us as the unicorn. We see this apparition as a mythic contingent of our brighter dreams, pale, serene, untouchable, yet all the more alluring. For in the subtleties of these deepest passions, we ache to embrace spirit, to soar as it soars, to glorify being as does the unicorn, who is the entity of our desire to be released from the struggle of matter. Unconsciously, we bend as a blade of grass to the breezes of truth in legend. The unicorn curves the streams of our night vision towards secret forests, wherein our souls may look upon him or her and share its blessings of solitude. As the most regent of nature beings, he is both high deva and animal. While other species have a commanding deva, that is their master form or archetype, the unicorn Every unicorn is a master form, yet they are also embodied as physical creatures abiding in a natural state within the central earth. To quote from issue 181 of the source, the central earth unicorns are kept within the maintained gardens, for like the Marie birds, they now require special attention in order to survive. Some of the most excellent specimens of the unicorn are cared for at the Aura Garden, at the Aura Healing Garden, where their beneficial healing tones are used in treating imbalanced biostreams. The subterranean unicorns maintain a distant nature and are not quite as accessible to the mental and physical touch as are the other inner world animals. However, once a being, whether human or animal, is accepted by a unicorn, there is a close bond between them. No other animal species on or in the earth possesses the depth of love and purity of soul as does this enigmatic one of the etheric melodies. There are two types of unicorns. One now non-existent in this world is of a slightly curved horn. It still abides in its place of origin, Faustia, also called Anthropia. Many other names have been used to identify this planet of the blue star Rigel in the constellation of Orion. The other form of this beast, with its straight horn, is still with us. It has since divided into two distinct subtypes, which I shall call the horse unicorn and the deer unicorn, for they possess the qualities of these creatures and are partly from their respective gene pools. And I might add, from the Thothic perspective, the horse and the deer and elk and animals of that nature are very closely related genetically as well. The singular horn of both the horse and deer unicorns are delicate tuning devices, able to send and receive harmonic interactions with the vibrating universe. It was a bonding of seven unicorns in their high Davic forms that the original Elohim worked through to set the harmonic of the planet in the first trigram, that age in which the earth was being aligned as a sacred temple. It was through the unicorn, then, that this world was given the word, the holy tone of the living spiral, which began the interfacing of the earth-human spiralic function. Thus, the shining horned ones are worthy of the title guardians of the spiral. Unicorns still do exist upon the surface of the planet. Since they are able to travel interdimensionally and shield themselves from sight with a form of sonar, they can be born, live, and die in our midst, and yet be removed from our consciousness. Now let me stop and explain that, because I really don't in this text. They can't abide with us in the physical context that they used to be able to do. They're in a slightly removed dimension. It's really still the inner earth dimension, but they can travel to the surface of the planet and still be in that envelope of dimension. They can kind of take it with them as a Merkaba and come to us in that form, so that they can actually be seen by us at times, but not because they're physically present as we understand it. That's about as close as I can get right now to explaining that. Now there's a book that I quote from here, and it's called Unicornus, on the History and Truth of the Unicorn. This is by Michael Green. It is a work revealing an ancient manuscript on the subject of their existence. Now, Michael Green is writing what I'm sure he considers to be a fictional book, or did write. However, according to Thoth, he's actually receiving most of it from the Akasha. Certainly there are embellishments, little fantasy things that are kind of put into it, but the true presence of what he's writing about, actually, he's channeling it. He's bringing it in from the past, whether he realizes that or not. So we continue. This old text, many pages of which are displayed in Mr. Green's work, again, the pages that are displayed in his work were obviously created by an artist for him, or he did it and put it in there as a fictional work. But they represent, maybe not stroke by stroke, but they represent basically, intrinsically, a true text, an ancient text. And this is according to Thoth. So we continue. The text, however, speaks in part of the creation, unicorns, and other properties of this creature as an archetype. Quoting from the ancient script reprinted by Michael Green, well, rewritten by Michael Green, we read of the creation and the coming of the unicorn to earth. This is from the book. There was the powerful spirit of Galgahim, whirling itself through uncounted ages, while ever spiraling around the central light. And while some things still fell into darkness, yet Galgahim guided others on a more rarefied path toward the shores of light. In such a way was balance achieved once more. Wrapped in a cloud came he, the first unicorn, by a bright whirlwind borne along. He descended gently from the heavens to the infant fields of earth, even before the fires of its forming were yet subdued. Thus did the unicorn possess the brightness of the light, that he might drive all darkness and obscurity from him. He was called Asalam, of unicorns, the firstborn, a creature fearfully wrought and wonderful to behold, bearing a horn of spiral light that is the sign of Gilgim, the guide. The manuscript addresses the bond between man and unicorn, and I quote again, "Thus was the unicorn the first beast that man beheld, and the first to which he gave a name. From that time to this, the fates of these two races have been bound together, for while the unicorn leads toward the light, only man may pass therein." And that ends the quote from Mr. Green's book. And I continue in 1989 by saying, the testament revealed in Unicornus also speaks of the 7 houses of the unicorn. These houses are interpreted by its ancient author as 7 types of physical unicorns. While there are subtle variations within both the horse and deer types, which can be traced to the 7 strains of genetic harmonies registered through the archetypal pattern of the unicorn species, my sources say that these variations are not as distinct as this author of old believes them to be. The 7 houses are in fact the creative blueprint or harmonic wrought through the implement of light known as the unicorn logi. And this is not loci, but L-O-G-I. There's a slight difference. The aforementioned gathering of archetypal forms activated by the Elohim, that's what the logi are, to perform the sacred tonings of the 7 seals, that divine manifest that has yet to be completed on this planet. Unicornus describes these 7 logi thusly, and I quote, "By Asalam, the penetrating, the mighty, the firstborn, were the life-giving waters brought forth, and in his garden Asalam begat Evelon, the devoted, called the friend of man, then Vata, who shall come at the dawn of the end of days, and Ohani, and Kestavara, and Abram, and Isfendaramon, who knows the darkness. From these, the 7 protectors, are descended every unicorn in the 7 houses," unquote. And now back to 1989, my work. According to my sources, these 7 unicorns are the archetypal regents, the logi, who guardian and evoke the charge of the spiral through sound and light within both the center of humanity and the center of earth. And so this concludes part 1 of the Black Rose translations. I'm trying to keep them short, so stay tuned for part 2. Thank you for listening.